She wasn't supposed to be standing outside that small apartment building at dusk, watching a single father carry groceries while three little voices laughed through the open window. Yet the billionaire CEO found herself frozen on the sidewalk, heart tightening in a way boardrooms never managed to do. She had built companies from nothing, negotiated million-dollar deals without blinking, but tonight something simple and ordinary unsettled her completely. It began earlier that afternoon during a chance visit to a local community project she funded. She noticed him immediately, a tired but gentle man balancing work and fatherhood. With quiet determination, there was no entourage, no polished presentation, just sincerity. When she learned he was raising triplets alone, her curiosity turned into concern, and concern slowly became something she did not want to name. Without announcing herself, she followed him home, not out of control, but out of an unexpected pull she couldn't explain. She told herself it was research, observation, understanding the lives her foundation aimed to support, yet deep down she knew it was more personal than that. The apartment was modest, warm with evening light. The walls were decorated with crayon drawings, three distinct signatures repeated in bright colors. The atmosphere was noisy but joyful, filled with overlapping giggles and the soft hum of a tired father preparing dinner. The CEO stood quietly in the hallway, unnoticed, observing the rhythm of their evening. After the first wave of curiosity settled, she stepped back outside, trying to convince herself to leave, but then she heard it, the beginning of bedtime. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you rewatching from. I love knowing who is listening. Inside, the routine unfolded like a gentle ritual. The father knelt to wash three pairs of tiny hands. He listened carefully as each child described their day in fragmented stories. He didn't rush them. Even when exhaustion lined his face, he gave them his full attention. The CEO felt something shift within her. In her world, time was measured in deadlines. Here it was measured in patience. The triplets argued playfully over who would choose the bedtime story. The father smiled and solved it by letting each child pick a page. His voice changed as he read, softer, steadier. The room grew quieter. The children leaned closer, their energy melting into calm. One by one, they climbed into their shared bed, clutching worn blankets. The CEO remained outside the doorway, unseen. She had followed him, expecting to confirm assumptions, perhaps financial instability, perhaps struggle. Instead, she witnessed structure, love, and resilience. The home was not perfect, but it was secure, and it was filled with something her high-rise office could never replicate: emotional wealth. Then something unexpected happened. One of the triplets began to cry quietly, not from fear, but from a small childlike insecurity. The father knelt beside the bed immediately. He didn't dismiss the feeling, he acknowledged it, he reassured his child that being brave didn't mean hiding sadness. It meant sharing it. That moment pierced the CEO's carefully constructed armor. She had spent years believing strength meant control, power, distance, but watching this father hold space for vulnerability made her question everything. Her inner voice grew louder. Was she truly strong or just guarded? The father eventually stepped out of the room to prepare for the next day. When he finally noticed the elegantly dressed woman standing in his hallway, there was surprise but no hostility. He recognized her from the community event and politely asked how he could help. She hesitated, words felt heavier than contracts. Instead of discussing business, she asked about his routine, about how he managed everything alone. He answered honestly, some days were overwhelming, some nights short, but his children were his reason to keep going. He admitted he didn't always get it right, but he tried. There was no performance in his voice, only sincerity. For the first time in years, the CEO felt small, not diminished, but humbled. She realized she had been living in constant motion, chasing growth metrics and public perception, while this father measured success in bedtime stories and morning hugs. Her presence there suddenly felt intrusive. She questioned whether following him had been appropriate. A wave of discomfort passed through her. Had she crossed a boundary? The moral tension lingered in the quiet hallway. She had entered his world without permission, yet nothing she witnessed was hidden or inappropriate. It was simply life, honest and unfiltered. She apologized for her unexpected visit. He accepted it calmly, without judgment. That grace unsettled her even more. There was no ego to challenge, no competition to win. Before leaving, she looked once more into the children's room. The triplets slept peacefully, arms tangled together. Their breathing was synchronized, the sound steady and reassuring. In that silent moment, she understood something profound. Wealth could build towers, but it could not build bedtime memories. Leadership could command, teams, but it could not replace presence, and success without connection felt empty. She returned to her car with tears she hadn't expected, not sadness, transformation. She decided right then to restructure parts of her foundation, more support for single parents, flexible funding for family stability programs, not for publicity but for impact. The next week, she returned not as an observer but as a listener. She asked what resources would genuinely help families like his. The conversation was different this time, collaborative, human. Over time, a respectful friendship formed, built on mutual understanding rather than assumptions. She learned from his resilience. He learned that asking for help did not mean failure, and the triplets, unaware of the shift their bedtime routine had inspired, continued their nightly rituals, laughing, reading, dreaming. The CEO no longer measured her life by quarterly reports alone. She measured it by balance, by empathy, by the ability to see beyond statistics into stories. Her walls didn't crumble that night, they softened, and in that softness she found strength she never knew she lacked, because sometimes the most powerful transformations begin in the quiet glow of a child's nightlight. True strength is found in the moments we choose empathy over ego, and in the stillness of ordinary lives, extraordinary change quietly begins. If this story touched you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more heartfelt journeys, and tell us in the comments what moment resonated with you the most. Your voice keeps this community alive.